Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Figure It Out, the show that just goes to show you that you don't have to be crazy to still be collecting action figures in this economy, though it helps. I'm Joe. With me, as always, is Mike, and filling in for our dear friend Tyler again is Randy.
Hello. You could not deal with your failure, and once again, that has led you to me. I'm just kidding. It was the only Marvel quote I could think of on the short
No,
notice.
it was
It
it
was
was solid.
relevant.
It was solid. So, but yeah. Uh, So we're back at it. Tyler is unfortunately not able to join us. However, this time it's for much happier circumstances. Instead of moving, he is, I think, on vacation. So that's pretty cool. But
That's
we are
pretty cool.
not. We are not on vacation. We are here with you, and this time we're going back to the House of Ideas. Well, the house formerly known as the House of Ideas, Marvel, and we're talking about those lovable mutants. We're talking X-Men in our second episode of our squad series. Before we get into the X-Men, let's talk new acquisitions. Fellas, do you have anything?
I'm about to be really bad, but it's all cardboard, so I won't bore the audience with that.
Well,
Yeah.
instead of Hasbro Pulse sending you pre-orders, it's been Amazon this time. So I'm gonna see. Hopefully, nope. Just kidding. There we go. I got
Ooh.
this is Spinister and Topspin 2-pack. I was not planning on getting this. However, I got Topspin's twin twist. And once I took it out of the package, I was like, crap, I'm going to have to get this. And I did. And they finally shipped it. I still have not taken it out of the box yet. So maybe I promise, guys, I'm going to work on this backlog of unboxing all these figures. However, I blame Randy. I blame Randy for getting me just super obsessed with Halo Flashpoint. And that's all I can think and talk about.
We are all just slaves to our plastic binds, but they just come in different sizes sometimes.
That's right. Speaking of Halo Flashpoint, not really a new acquisition. However, it's a newly painted acquisition. I did my Spartan Gungnir. It looks better in person, I promised. My camera's just old. So we got this guy with the plasma launcher and his, I guess, counter or companion or other dude with the grenade launcher. I'll get some actual pictures so that you can see it, but it looks way better in pictures and not on this old webcam. But so
we need to do, or you guys need to do a Halo episode, and then I would like to come back for that. I don't have a ton of figs, but I know you've got more than me.
You can take my spot, kind sir.
Okay, not a problem.
My memories of Halo are a lot different than y'all's.
Game. I'll just pretend I'm that 12-year-old girl yelling at you on Xbox Live.
It's embarrassing.
Hey man, everybody has those matches, and if somebody's telling you they've never gotten ragdolled in Halo, they're lying, or they've played the wrong game.
It's not living when you're getting corpse camped, and a little girl is telling you should put your controller down because you're a disgrace to yourself. It's weird because it wasn't even cussing, wasn't even like classic.
It was that cerebral
talk. It was just like most polite degradation imaginable. It was embarrassing.
It's probably how people felt whenever they were playing up against Larry Bird back in the day.
Yeah.
Just getting trash talked. And like you couldn't even do anything about it because he's just going to shoot the ball like right in your face no matter how good you're defending him.
Yeah.
But no, Halo do be like that.
So yeah, you can take my spot with pleasure.
You could you'll get courtside seats to hearing me and Tyler talk about how we need a Pelican like yesterday. But
Yeah, for sure.
that is a future episode. We're talking about today's episode. Today's episode in our squad series, we're doing X-Men, and the scenario is assault on Asteroid M. So, fellas, here's what's going on. Magneto is up to his old tricks in a new way. In a move that he's famously known for, he has pulled yet another asteroid into Earth's orbit and has set up a new base. The nations of the world are panicking and look to you to provide a quick solution. You have been assigned the task of assembling a squad of X-Men with the objective of infiltrating Asteroid M and bringing about an end to the immediate threat. Who are you selecting? What is your methodology and rationale? Randy, you're our guest. You start us off.
At some point, I would like to also discuss favorite comic runs and cartoon episodes that revolve around Asteroid M, because there's been some bangers across the history.
You know, that's an excellent idea. Let's do that now.
Okay. I mean, the two for me that pop off is there's the Pride of the X-Men that like features like Kitty Pryde getting over her like xenophobia with Nightcrawler. I think that was going to be like a pilot into like a proper cartoon, right? But they don't, it never really took off from there.
I remember that was the one where most or all, like a majority of the voice acting cast were all Australian. So Wolverine, even though he's supposed to be Canadian, speaks with, like, he sounds like a Dreadnought from G.I. Joe. Like, he's got like the thickest Australian accent.
I guess it was foreshadowing, right? For old Jackman. And then man, the X-Men Evolution, the climax of Cyclops and Havoc like getting
and aged up and
further
aged up.
evolved. Yeah,
yes.
Like destroy. Oh my gosh, like
we're like they're falling from it.
That was the last epic animated Cyclops moment we got until 97 came out, in my opinion.
I remember geeking out so hard when I watched that, because whenever he came out of that chamber and he was all aged up, I was like, he looks exactly like Cable. And I got really excited that they were going to maybe do like a little Cable thing, but they didn't. But that's okay, because that was just my crazy fanboy brain just going out of control. So,
yeah.
But no, that was awesome.
The anime guy in me was like, oh, they're like future Trunks now. It's so cool.
I assume that's a Dragon Ball Z reference.
It is.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, anime skipped our house growing up.
White-haired teenager shooting massive energy blasts. So
okay,
there's the parallel.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
We made it.
Also, speaking of X-Men 97, when they did Asteroid M in X-Men 97, as I recall, they even had like the spacesuits that they had in the comic books.
Yeah.
In the comic books, the Fatal Attractions storyline where Ileana dies. I'm sure we've talked about it. Where Ileana dies, Colossus becomes disillusioned with Xavier and his dream and decides, I'm going to go across the street, join Magneto, become an acolyte, and get a really big, long, cool, flowy cape and shoulder pads, because this was the 90s and we knew how to do things.
Shoulder pads were in.
Shoulder pads and pouches, man. That's still my aesthetic. Like every Spartan I customize in Halo, I'm just like, where are the shoulder pads? Where are the pouches?
How do I make them look like a World of Warcraft paladin?
Yes. Give me a paladin. Give me armored up paladin with pouches. Pouch it in. There it is. But yeah, and then so Colossus is a bad guy. Xavier leads an assault. He gets like the suit that lets him tap into his brain powers, and he lets him walk somehow, because they drew it that way. So they're like, crap, we got to try to figure this out and explain this away. But yeah, just fun stuff. Fun stuff.
Well, Mike, do you have a favorite Asteroid M comic or
No, Joseph took
cartoon?
mine.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, don't apologize. I've got some Marvel cards from that era with Colossus on it, and I like just how existential he was. How like no matter what decision he made, it just doesn't matter. Like I really like that. It gave him kind of a depth. It was pretty cool.
It just broke my heart to see Peter like that, because he cares too deeply. I also remember there's an issue of, I think it was Cable number 11, where there was Acolyte Colossus and Cable fighting on the cover. And I remember seeing that when I think I was in junior high maybe, and I was just thumbing through back issues like you do. And I saw that and I was like, oh, that's immediately getting gotten.
Yeah.
So, but all right. So, Randy, who's your team?
All right. So my 5. Now I realize I may not be here for the rest of the Squad series of X-Men, but I did choose to not just pop off with all my favorites as a cop out. I tried to do it like I'm going to have to answer all of them. So I think I took a measured approach, and we'll see here. I definitely tried to build it like an MMO or a D&D party. I definitely took those references that we discussed into account of like what said team may encounter on their mission. So I am going to start off with my squad leader for this, and it is a Summer, and it is going to be Alex Summers Havoc.
Nice.
He is also a blaster. He's got experience leading a team. You know, that Summers leadership is just kind of natural to them Summers boys, I guess. But my background, as you can see, is from the Rise and Fall of the Shi'ar Empire comic line. I really enjoyed that one, and so he's no stranger to space missions either. And so I'm definitely pulling from that. But a big important component of that is because of my next choice. And if it's Magneto on Asteroid M, what is a common factor that happens when a mission happens on Asteroid M?
It falls out of the sky.
It falls out of the sky, right? Because they take down Magneto, and turns out Magneto's the whole reason the darn thing is in the sky anyways. So my solution, we're going to bring Polaris. She's bringing the same kind of heat as Magneto is. There is a worry, oh, that's my dad, like, right? You don't want her to like switch sides or anything. You bring her boyfriend, right? They're going to stick together.
You don't think that would ultimately prove to be a liability, where if they are evenly matched as counters, all Magneto would have to do is just be like, I don't have to defeat my daughter. I just have to defeat her boyfriend. And then he focuses fire on Havoc. And then that creates some, I mean, it creates heightened drama, which is exactly why we love reading the X-Men. But
Absolutely.
I'm just saying, how do you kind of book that territory?
It works fine for Scott and Jean most of the time. So that's my reasoning.
That's fair.
And I like Polaris more than Jean, so also not an easy decision.
It's not hard to do.
Also easy. Yeah, absolutely. I have not read a ton of stuff with them in it, but any storylines I have where they're in it, I enjoy what they bring. I like the storylines they get put in. They were a big staple on X Factor for a while, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Okay. All right. So speaking of Jean Grey, I needed a strong telekinetic. So of course, I'm bringing Rachel Grey because she is the angsty, younger, less baggage, more cool chick.
And
obviously.
Also, you're an X-calibur guy growing up.
Yes, and you know she can also wield the Phoenix Force, so her potential is still way up there. And you know, fail safe to beating Magneto, you get that helmet off. You need the psychic to go in and shut the mind down, right? So
Yeah.
So I'm bringing Polaris to fight magnetism with magnetism. And then we've got Rachel Gray on the backup there. And also you need someone who can throw a lot of power around. And speaking of a lot of power, I needed a big bruiser. And I thought about this for a while. And I couldn't remember if like Colossus's skin is counted as manipulatable metal for Magneto or not. So I just went with Juggernaut.
That would do it.
I almost used Juggernaut. Yeah.
Mainly because the other scenarios, I was like, man, I really want Colossus for the other scenario, and I'm pretty sure you know which one, Joe. But yeah, Juggernaut. Another reason I feel like Havoc and Polaris have quite a few runs where they work with like former villains turned to X-Men team side type stuff, or doing the X Factor stuff. They're doing some more of the sneak type stuff, having to less savory relationships sometimes. And
clandestine.
You can stick him out front. He can take a punch. And if Magneto happens to have a telepath on the other side, he's got the helmet, right? So he's bringing the same tech as Magneto. And then my last pick is definitely a homer pick for me. Like, I mainly pick them because they're one of my favorites, but you're going to space. You need a way to get there. It's very often when these things explode, someone has to stay behind, right? To hold the doohickey together so everyone else can get off, right? And so I wanted someone who could teleport, and so I'm bringing Magic because Magic is Bay, Magic is life. Yes, I love Magic. She covers so many of the other bases that the other guys don't. If there's something mystical going on for some reason, maybe you're on Asteroid M and all of a sudden you get shunted through time. Apparently that's a thing that can happen. Or, like Mephisto shows up, right? Like, she covers those bases and, she can transport you. Sure, it's a portal through limbo type hell dimension, but we won't worry about that too much. It's quick. It's fine.
What are the odds of a teammate getting left behind?
Who's to say?
Who's to say?
With Cyclops leading pretty high, right, Morph?
Yeah. I like my team a lot. My only main weakness, I feel like, is I don't have a strong tech guy. But I feel like history shows us that asteroid's falling to the ground anyways. Or if it's not going to fall to the ground, you ain't going to fix it in time. So I chose to just circumvent that and go the powers route. So roast me.
No, I'm not going to roast you.
No, man, that's a really good team.
I can't roast you because we have, I would say, 1.5 people on the same list.
Yeah, so
I'm excited to hear the half.
If I may ask, Randy, if you were going to write this comic, or you were going to write a 5-issue series, or using the 52 model of 5 mini issues, and then it'll lead up to a whole story of 25 issues. What would your art kind of look like? What would be some of your setups and payoffs that you would do?
I think this would be like Havoc taking temporary leadership over the X-Men. Like maybe Cyclops has decided I'm going to go have my family for a little bit. Because otherwise I don't see why Cyclops isn't handling this Asteroid M situation. And then, I think there's something there too with... Well, Juggernaut's currently on the X-Men team, I believe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think part of it would be who else Magneto has on the asteroid with him, which I don't know if I got to pick that. I know you said his acolytes, and so I always kind of default to the his evolution cronies. It's Avalanche and Blob and Toad.
Oh, the Brotherhood guys.
Yeah. So I think for a arc run for me, it would always come down to why is he putting Asteroid M up, right? There's always like a good reason that's also kind of the same reason, like humans suck. But I think I would maybe like to change it up and like it maybe be like a scroll or Shi'ar attack or something. Like he's like putting Asteroid M up as like a counter like measure kind of
They're
thing,
kind of like a
or
first line defense for like a incoming scroll invasion or something.
yeah, but then something goes wrong because it does, right?
Yeah. It's Magneto. It's contractually obligated to go wrong.
I mean, once he gets that hammer up in in space, like the Earth just looks like the biggest nail, and he just wants to smash it.
I mean, you can't fault him for that.
No, I mean, dude's got so much restraint.
Yeah. He's got so much restraint until he doesn't.
Yeah, you're right.
So, all right, that's Randy. Mike, who do you got for us? Who's your team?
So, I'm going to preface this with I wanted to honor Randy because last episode he said he likes to get the oddballs. So, I wanted to pick a group that honored that. And I picked some oddballs, man. I think it'll be cool. Also, like the question I asked Randy, I wanted to come at it from a comic book point of view. If I was going to write an arc and some issues, how would I want to approach it? So after I let my cast out of the bag, I'll talk about some of that stuff. Also, the last thing is I don't know how many X-Men Squad series we're going to do, so I wanted to hold back and not get my favorites out right away.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a hot take. The first one right out of the gate. I love you, Jofus, but I'm not a Cyclops guy. As far as leaders, he'd be like my third or fourth.
Okay.
Sorry, bud.
Are you picking him or no?
I am picking him. He is going to be my leader.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not saying he's terrible. I'm not saying that he would be an ineffective leader. It's just not my dude.
He just brings a lot of Phoenix-shaped baggage with him, it seems like.
Well, a lot of Phoenix-shaped baggage and a lot of diamond-encrusted telepath baggage.
Hey, I'm all right with the diamond-encrusted baggage.
So am I. Just
my man.
Get Gene out of here, man. The whole thing is so tiring.
I just wish that Scott would just be alone and work through his codependency issues and just maybe not have a romance.
When I watched the cartoon, I remember just being so tired of Wolverine. And then I got so tired of Jean. Then I got so tired of Cyclops. And I was like, what episodes are there left? Let me find those and just kind of edit the way I watch stuff. I don't want to see these people.
It was so bad because there for a while in the 90s, they would show the reruns and they would show the Phoenix Saga and the Dark Phoenix Saga so much that even our mom would complain.
Even your mom knows what the Micron crystal is.
She was like elite level boy mom with three boys. So
she'd be walking through the house and just like, and she would just see the like, you know, Jean Grey and like hear her just wailing like, or whatever she did. And she would just be like, another Phoenix episode. And then just like carry on about her day.
Best mom ever.
Yeah.
But with that said, let me say some good things about Cyclops. Leadership experience. I mean, this isn't going to be his first time fighting Magneto. Like he's going to have a plan. He's going to prepare. Also, the thing that I think would help him out the most, and this is kind of what helped me build my team, is I wanted there just to be good soldiers. People that would follow orders, that wouldn't push back, that wouldn't be like, I go where I want to go. You know, like I wanted people to just listen.
Whoever could you be talking about?
Like, just be a good soldier. Inexperience is fine because all you're going to be doing is listening to Scott,
doing what you're told,
giving you orders, and having him reach into his bag of experience and just leading. I do have one exception, but I'll get into that here in a second. So first up, now I chose this because I like this character. I kind of like the silent characters that just kind of have a heart, right? I chose Dust, deep cut, new X-Men. She has the ability to turn herself into dust. Now, I'm sure there's some metallic rock in dust, so it might blow up in my face. I'm not a science guy. I have an English degree. I don't know that for sure, but she fits into that mold of she's doesn't really talk that much, if at all. And she has a heart. She's compassionate, but she could really benefit the group by being able to change shapes. Like she'd be able to dodge and take care of herself, potentially attack. You know, she wouldn't be just standing still. And that's also something I looked into this group with, is how much mobility can you have? And let
She kind of
Scott-
seems like she'd fit that Kitty Pryde role a little bit too.
Yeah.
Of like being able to like get around things. Yeah.
And like that's another prevalent thing I thought about with this team, is I would want this team to be just mobile to the max. So my next pick, going with another new X-Man, Pixie. I chose her for a couple good reasons. She does have an ability to heal. She is crazy mobile. In her run, she had a crush on Cyclops. That's not why I put her in there, but with Cyclops. But I thought that was just a fun little fact. She can produce this thing called pixie dust, and it promotes hallucinations. That's kind of that psychic knife, you know, that Randy mentioned. You know, get the helmet off and attack his mind. Pixie dust would be a good option to kind of move things along. And on top of that, she flies. So she's got some mobility. She can heal. She can provide some pixie dust. And on top of that, like Randy mentioned, she can teleport. She can cast a teleport spell. So she can get people out of dodge when it matters. Not that I was thinking about, you know, teleporting a whole team off the asteroid like Randy. That's a good thought. She could definitely teleport a lot of people to a lot of places. So as I was thinking, I was like, you know what? We shouldn't put poor old Scott on a team of all newbies. So let's give him an OG. But I wanted to keep with the good soldier. I got Beast. I wanted old Hank McCoy with him.
Yeah. I almost went Beast too for the tech guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah. Because we all know Beast. Tech, highly mobile, and very agile. He would be my strength guy also. Like, man. And at the same time, he's smart enough, self-aware enough to know that, like, hey, Scott's got this figured out. I just need to follow his orders. And if he needs help, I'm here for him. If he wants an analyzation or some kind of input about a techie thing, I'm here. He's just got to ask. I'll work. I'll follow orders. Nothing big. So that's who I picked. Then my last one was Cannonball. I picked Sam Guthrie. He fits that mold of mobile. He fits that mold of follows orders. He has led X-Men and X-Force. He has been trained by great leaders on X-Men and X-Force. He can fly. He's just mobile. And
you can just send him to blow up the whole asteroid by himself if you need to.
Yeah. And it's like he would be there if, you know, Cyclops had a shoot us moment, or the searcher moment where I decided to off him just to mess with Joseph. Cannonball would be there, right? But I would
Cyclops
do that
hasn't died in the comic books, like, at all.
Yeah, exactly. So
just on the inside.
Does character assassination count?
But how I would approach this as from a writer's perspective is I would frame it that Cyclops knows this song and dance, right? He knows that who he would normally take, who he would possibly take, but then he's like, hey, Beast, I need you to run an algorithm on some of the best X-Men to take with us. And I need you with me. And so he would pick these 3. And, I could dig into some layers on Dust, Pixie, and Cannonball, Sam Guthrie, just to kind of give them a new shine, give them a new coat of paint to where I could write for them later on. And they would essentially kind of be resurrected by me. And I could write that perspective, and it would be, Dust and Pixie, how do they feel about being promoted to being an X-Man? Dust died, so how would I start there? So it'd be a lot of questions and things that I would need to, expositions that I would need to start out with, and then how the story would be framed. It'd be, the first couple beats would be getting the team together, and then the rise of the asteroid, right? So be a lot of fun stuff. That's how
Sounds
I would
like
approach it. Yeah.
I really feel like you could have like a Slumdog Millionaire kind of vibe to this run. Like he runs this algorithm, right? And then like these oddly specific things happen on the mission that like while some of these may not have been the most obvious choice for it, like some specific thing happens. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
we needed someone to hallucinate. We needed this chick to turn to dust and get in the ventilation system or something.
Yeah, that would be how I would do it. That's all I got, Jofus.
I love Cannonball. I have him.
I do too.
On another squad.
Same.
For sure. Pixie. I like that. Same reason. Another reason I have Polaris. They have great colors, like for a comic page or to animate.
Yes.
Like they're bright. There's something great to look at. It's not just blue and gold on them, right? Yeah.
Hey.
So I like those picks. Nothing wrong with blue and gold. I mean,
I know.
those are my armor colors, man. Yeah, no, I like that. What beast are we looking at here?
Jim Lee.
Are you okay? So you're not a cat face beast. You are a
no,
not a cat face beast.
Yeah.
If my artist came to me and said, "Hey, man, let me try this cat beast face thing," and I'd be like, "Let me see a drawing," and he made it look good, I wouldn't say no. We all know my affinity for Thundercats, so I don't think it'd be a hard sell. But if he could draw Jim Lee Beast better, I'd be like, man, you need to stick to Jim Lee, bro.
Early 90s Beast is peak, and I'll not tolerate a word otherwise. I'm just going to jump in. For my team lead, I went with Forge as my tech guy.
Bold.
He's going to, like Randy pointed out, that asteroid, almost as soon as it goes up, it's going to come down. And I could picture Forge at the controls, kind of trying to crash land it gingerly, like not unlike Anakin Skywalker in Revenge of the Sith, or like he could, he'd be like the one guy other than Beast who I initially had earmarked for this. But then I was like, oh man, Forge could get in there and he could wreck Mary havoc with, pun intended, with the Asteroid M systems. And also he's a cool head under pressure. He, battle tested, tried and true, just solid.
So what you're saying is drop him off, but 4v1 Magneto with the others.
something like that.
Okay.
And then
That's cool.
speaking of going against Magneto, this is where Randy and I had overlap. Polaris. I'm taking
Nice.
Polaris for all of the reasons why Randy said. And then, so I have two characters with similar enough skill sets, but they're also different enough that I think would be really fun. I've got Psylocke and I've got Gambit.
Man,
And
that guy's too off the board early, dude.
listen, I needed him, and he's the one. I've got two picks on here that from the X-Men number 25 when they actually go to Asteroid M and they fight. Charles picks Wolverine, which I'll never understand.
Okay, let's take a second here. Why would you ever send? Oh man, we're fighting Magneto. Let's send the guy with the adamantium skeleton.
It's like like okay, like walk into the danger room. It's like, okay, guys, we're gonna fight Magneto today. Wolverine, Colossus, and Cable, you're staying home. Everybody else,
it's not difficult.
X-Jet leaves in 20. But so yeah, Gambit was a pick, and I mean, is like stealth, infiltrating, and also when things get kinetic and you need a scrap, he's one of the best. Same thing for Psylocke, stealth, melee. When things get up close, she also can throw stuff like shoot her little psychic or psionic little darts or whatever.
Yeah,
like she's it'd be one of those things where Gambit's a thief, she's an assassin, can have a little fun with that. Can kind of do one of those little like anything you could do, I can do better.
If she's
stories.
an assassin, there's no reason Magneto needs to wake up, right?
Yeah, I was about to say, is Magneto dying in your scenario?
Haven't got that far. I'm just having fun. I'm just new squad goofing, man.
New squad goof.
So those are four, and then my fifth one, so I can get her out of the way, because we're gonna be in space. I'm gonna bring Jean, and this is where the half comes in. So I'm bringing Jean because I don't care, but she's considered a heavyweight. And also, if she happens to just kind of do what Jean does and not make it back, no sweat off my back. Like, I'm okay with it.
He always
and
comes
also,
back.
If she's gonna Phoenix out, at least she can do it in space and try to minimize casualties. But yeah, and also maybe she could, like, whenever the asteroid's in free fall and Forge is doing everything he can, but he just can't quite get the asteroid on the trajectory, she can Phoenix up and grab it and just like scoot it or do whatever. But
so is Jean or Forge going to be your leader?
Oh, Forge. I'm gonna do Forge. Just because because didn't he lead X Factor for a while, or was that just in the cartoon?
He's led quite a bit, so
yeah,
he's qualified.
So, and also, I would imagine writing Jean self-aware enough to be like, I probably shouldn't be in charge. I should probably just kind of like
that'd be
used in
interesting
reserve.
Arc, right? Is first she is made leader, and then her and Scott, or her and Hope, or her and Nate have a conversation, and they're like, should you really do that? And then she becomes self-aware and kind of sad. You could have some fun with that. It could create some personal conflict and internal conflict.
Yeah. But I mean, and eventually, she would overcome it. Everything, would be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I almost took Beast. There's also a couple other people I almost took, but I'm gonna save them for a rainy day. So
yeah, I mean, we knew I wasn't taking Colossus.
No.
So.
Yeah. I thought about Gambit briefly, but after 97, Gambit is constantly going to be on my Sentinel squad, man.
Yeah.
Like, just
the name's Gambit.
I can
remember it.
Yeah.
That's right.
Pop them boys.
There's another one there's another list that it was the fastest list I've ever filled out because I basically stole it from the comic books.
Yeah.
I did think about going X-Men First Class, like Angel, Beast, Iceman, Cyclops, Jean Grey.
Yeah.
It's just classic. But I feel like when they fight Magneto in that classic, you know what cover I'm talking about? Like
Yeah.
Beast. It's Human Beast, right? And he's got like the metal poles or whatever.
Yeah.
They're not dealing with Asteroid M. So
No,
I was like, yeah, I'm gonna backtrack on that. Good luck, Angel, flying in space.
He can fly around the base though.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's who we got. If you have thought about this, who you would want to see in an Asteroid M story, let us know in the comments. Hit us up. You know, we're always this is the stuff that we love to geek out about, and it's, you know, that's why we're here. Would you take Magneto, or would you take Wolverine and Cable and Colossus? I don't know why. You just like making things harder for yourself, but I bet that would be a fun story.
I mean, I feel like they send Wolverine just to get his skeleton ripped out. Like,
Yeah.
That's true.
so on that side, I get it.
Yeah, that was one of those like, hey, like this makes no logical sense, but the plot needs it to happen, so we're just gonna do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fine. It all worked out. I think that's gonna about wrap us up as far as announcements. Oklahoma City Toy Extravaganza. This is a new one that I just kind of found out about. It's going to be June 21st at the Oklahoma City Fairgrounds. I'm sure tickets are on sale, but you should definitely check out their website if you're interested. Then, of course, the Dallas-Fort Worth G.I. Joe and Action Figure Show, June 27th through 29th at the Dallas-Fort Worth Airport Marriott in Irving, Texas. Definitely check out their website. Do you guys have anything?
I don't have anything.
No, just thanks for having me on. If you are interested in tabletop stuff, I do a Star Wars Legion and Halo Flashpoint show, the X1 Legion cast, or the Orbital Drop Pod. I'm sure Joe can link in the description below. No, I don't want to steal Matt Colville's thing. I don't want to. I almost did, but I was like, I'm not going to do it. Yeah, just excited for all the things lately that have been taking up my time.
All the plastic, which is going to give way to all the cardboard.
Yes.
On that note, I've been Joe. With me, as always, Mike, and our special guest again, from Randy, filling in for Tyler. When it comes to trying to pull a giant asteroid out of Earth's orbit safely enough so that nobody's hurt seriously, but also a fun story is told, you guys helped us figure it out. Take care. Bye.
Later, y'all. Do you have white boxes, my dude?
No, I was actually going to ask you when you were going by if you could pick me up a white box.
I got you, player.
I have one, but it's not nearly big enough.
Oh man.